Okay, good morning. Welcome to Yin Yoga. Today our practice is going to focus on posture, a sequence of postures that can help lift your mood. So uh, when we have a low mood, it's either usually depression or anger, or depression and sadness, or anger and resentment, kind of irritability. And so we want to kind of seek out the opposite. What is the opposite of that? Anger would be kindness. So seeking to address situations with kindness, even if you feel angry. But these postures are good to impact the liver meridian, which the liver is a seat of anger. So we're going to start with a silent meditation. So if you can't sit on your heels, you could stay in this posture, easy pose, but just know that it's not slumped. You're going to stay in easy pose. You're going to pull your lower back through and your chest to the front so that your hip bones kind of adjust themselves forward. And that's the posture. Otherwise, you want to sit on your heels, and I always use a little pillow for under my feet. And some people might want to use a pillow between their shins and their buttocks too. So whatever works for you on that. And I'll turn on the music and we'll just sit in silent meditation for several minutes, tuning into what anger you may have or what other disturbing mood you may feel, if it's depression, sadness, grief. If you're sitting on your heels, then your hands are just resting on your thighs, palms facing up, thumbs, in either case, thumbs touching the pointer fingers. Eyes are closed. Your gaze could be up and in at the third eye, and your breath is relaxed, belly rising with each inhale and contracting with each exhale. If the mind keeps going off into different directions, bring it back to the breath. I am inhaling, I am exhaling. Okay, so our first actual yin posture is going to be toe squats. So that is where you can come onto all fours. And it might be hard to see my toes, especially they're in socks today. But you want to place your toes, curl them, so that they're pointing forward on the mat. Your toes are on the mat, but everything else is up. So you're actually flexing your toes. And then as you begin to sit back on your heels or toward your heels, and your feet are close together, your knees are close together. You're spreading your toes, all 5 toes are spread a little bit just so that they have their own room, and that they're all 5 on each foot are on the mat. They have their own place. And then you can sit up on your heels, or if that's too much, you can also stay holding yourself up somehow, like on the floor or on a bench or a chair or something like that. And this can be very intense. Actually, the other thing you can do at the same time is let's do our wrists under toward us. So all our fingers are pointing toward our feet, and we're going to rest on the back of our hands. That is unless you want to be upright in the kneeling posture, or the seated kneeling posture. So it's up to you. I give you a choice on how you want to do that. I just want to throw in my wrists right now because they're a little bit sore. And my toes definitely need some work, but they don't need too much work. So I want to find like just the right amount of stretching for me. And I want to suggest that you do that too. Yes, we want to push ourselves a little bit, but we don't want to go past 75% of our edge. So we give ourselves that 25% buffer. If you have your wrists down and upside down, the back of your hands down, just notice if your hands are underneath your shoulders. You don't want them way out in front. You don't want to, so under your shoulders is a good place for your hands. Be sure you're breathing gently, kind of a long and deep or long and medium breath. If this is just too much for your toes, by the way, another thing you could do is just be upright in the kneeling and still have your toes curled under. As you lean back a little bit, that'll put a little more pressure on your toes, and it'll also stretch some attachments around your upper knees. you are in the upright and leaning back posture, be sure that you're tightening your buttocks, your abdomen, your upper legs, so that you're squeezing all those muscles so that it's not in your lower back. The pressure isn't in your lower back. And to come out of it slowly, come out of it. Whatever posture you're in, make it very slow. And you might rest just on all fours. Or you might want to sit down and extend your legs out. So I'll tell you a little bit about the next posture. I really have a feeling I picked the wrong spot for the sun right now. I moved the umbrella and I don't think it's going to do it for me. You may have to move. But anyway, we're going to do an ankle stretch. And so the yin posture is like this, like the full on, and you're sitting on your heels, and then you lean back. You may bend your elbows leaning back, and your knees lift up. So that's one way to do it. And if you just really can't do that, then you could try this one where you're laying on your belly and maybe using a strap or a towel or something. You reach for your feet. And without having to bring your whole torso up very much, just push your legs away so that you're stretching both ankles at the same time. Okay, so that's an option. And another possibility is just doing one leg at a time. So you bend one knee, you grab one foot, and then say my knees are resting on top of each other here. And you pull that foot away. Again, seeking to stretch that ankle. Maybe you can come down even further with your elbows and forearms on the floor, lifting your knees. But again, tuck the pelvis, so pull the belly in toward the lower back, toward the floor. Squeeze your buttocks. Breathe. Just maybe 30 more seconds of this one. And when you're ready, slowly come out of it. And definitely straighten both legs out. Give your legs a break. So we're going to give it about a 30-second break in between each posture, and you can move your feet around. You could gently lift your alternating knees. Okay, let me get rid of my socks. And let's do dangling pose. So we come up to standing. Okay, and your feet are about 8 inches apart, something like that. We're just gonna come into a forward fold. Let your let your legs be straight, no bend in the knees, or if needed, a very slight bend in the knees. And then this is dangle pose. So you could kind of intertwine your arms so they don't hit the floor, and you just allow yourself to really relax your upper body, holding firm with your legs. If you need to, it's okay to put your hands on the floor. Maybe you need just a little bit of support. That's okay too. And you're not holding yourself up with your hands, they're just resting on the floor. Make sure your head is loose so that you could just gently allow it to sway, but you don't need to. It's just want to check in and make sure it's loose. So you can either slightly bend your knees some more and place your hands on the floor, and then come on down. We'll have our rest right now. So our liver meridian, at least on one end, ends in our big toe on each side, big toes. So working with the feet like that is very good actually for clearing all the meridians that end in your toes. But just so you know that and the spleen end in the big toes. So the spleen is also in the solar plexus, which houses the liver as well. Solar plexus, the spleen relates to sadness. That's where we may carry sadness, and the liver is more about anger. So we're going to come into Malasana. And so come on upright or stand up. And so normally, just for distance, I just want to tell you, your feet would be at about the width of your mat, the short width. So find an approximate distance like that. And after your next inhale, come down into a low squat, or you may have to be in a higher squat. You may have to be more up here, but some people can come down even further. And your hands are actively pressing into each other. Your elbows are pressing into your knees. And your knees meet that pressure equally. Tuck your chin. So if you need to use a wall, you could be back against the wall and hold it. Let the wall hold you up. But still try to have your knees and elbows meeting. So let it be active. Stretch your spine. Slightly tuck your chin. Regular breath here. Through the nostrils. So here we're folding our root chakra into our solar plexus and our sacral chakra. So we're really accessing all three lower chakras. And it's those three chakras that hold our lower vibration stuck emotions. Emotions can be stuck in any chakra, but these emotions of the first three are very dense and powerful, and we don't like those emotions. We don't like anger and shame, guilt, etc., etc. So they often, I'm not saying we shouldn't like them, I'm just saying typically we don't like them. One way to help release them is to actually welcome them. So when you feel a rotten emotion, it feels like a low vibration, what we might call a negative emotion, it's actually here to serve you, to show you what you're carrying. Energy that might not even be yours. still making this active, think of like a nutcracker, squeezing together the knees. Is it the fulcrum would be the point end? I'm not sure. That's coming to mind. I could be wrong about that. If it's too much on your hands after a little bit, maybe you switch your hands. So the back of your hands are next to each other, meeting each other, and still have a somewhat active, pressing of the knees and the elbows. Keep going. Okay, and slowly come out of it. So come into easy pose. And let's do a little bit of our stomach circles, starting counterclockwise. Inhale forward, exhale back. And now go the other direction. Come back to center, and let's do a moment of seated cat-cow, or actually spinal flex. Inhale forward, exhale back. This isn't technically yin, but it feels good. And it's good for lubricating all between the vertebrae of the spine. Remember, you have to be hydrated to be able to lubricate. So be sure to be drinking lots of water, and not just plain water. Whenever possible, use herbal tea, or my favorite is a few drops of lime juice and a pinch of pink salt and maybe a pinch of some kind of natural sugar. Okay, and just rest for a moment. And now we're going to come on to into a wide-legged child's pose. I can't quite see my legs. Let's see. Back up just a little bit. With your hands extended out, just rest down, thinking about elongating your spine. Now, we're going to move into the next posture. If you have two mats, you can either spread them out, sort of side by side but overlapping, or you could put them into a T shape. And that way, we can extend our knees outward and still have the stickiness of the mat. So come back down into that wide-legged child's pose again. And now begin to come up. And don't let your hips go past your knees. And you still want to keep your feet closer together, but you want to widen your knees. And then extend your arms out again. So I don't know if you can see yourself, but you do want to try to have your hips kind of over your knees. And I need a little extra padding. I actually felt the need to also widen my knees more. So if you need to sit up to make that adjustment where you widen your knees even more. And you might just come down onto your forearms. Once they're in a much wider posture, you'll find that, okay, I may need to do something with my arms a little different. So you may need to hold yourself up with your forearms. Should mainly feel this in your inner groin on both sides. Maybe I should say outer groin, I'm not sure. But that connection right between your base of your pelvis and your top of your legs. But you're going to feel it more on the inner thighs. I think that's what I meant to say. Upper, inner thighs. All the way up to the groin on both sides. If you need to hold your head up with a block or your hands, you can do that. Oh, and if you need to widen your legs, your feet a little bit, you can try that too. Okay, so to come out of it, maybe curl your toes under, lift up into your feet, lift your knees up. So I put my mats back, my mat back. Let's have about 15 more seconds of a rest. And come on back to all fours. We're going to do sleeping swan. So it's kind of like pigeon. Yin has different names for things. You're going to bring your right knee toward your right wrist and set it down. And you can extend your back leg out, straighten it a little bit. But take that right foot and cross it under the left thigh toward the left side of your mat. Maybe inch it along with your feet, your foot, just inch itself along. And then once you get in that position, go ahead and sink your pelvis down even lower. So I'll show you from this way. So I have my knee up to my wrist, and then I cross that foot over to the other side, and then sink down into it. So again, from here, so you can start upright at first and just get settled in. And if and when you're ready, you can come down lower, maybe onto your forearms. Or maybe all the way down. So we've been talking a bit about anger, the liver meridian. That same chakra, the solar plexus, it has some good aspects, some high vibration aspects to it. Emotions that we all welcome, like a feeling of confidence or empowerment, calm empowerment, peaceful as opposed to compulsive. Addiction has a relation to that solar plexus, that compulsivity, obsession. And we're bringing it all closer to the earth than it usually is. And the earth is very healing. So it'll draw some of your emotions out of your body, especially through your feet, because that is what's usually the closest thing to the earth for us. So we want to make sure that we don't block the energy through our feet. And regular shoes do that if they have a rubber bottom or a synthetic bottom. So think about getting some grounding shoes. Or when you're at home, wear slippers that are made out of leather, maybe lined with sheepskin. I think that's about it. But you can also buy grounding shoes that have a grounding sole to the, like a technology built into the sole of the shoe. But we don't want to block these emotions from leaving our body when they're ready to leave our body. So slowly begin to help your upper body up. Take a breath, and on the exhale, lift your pelvis and slide your right leg out. And we can just rest in this posture for a moment. Maybe do a little side to side with your hips. And we'll do the other side now. Bringing the left knee to the left wrist, and then sliding that left foot across toward the side edge of your mat while you're still up off, your pelvis is still up and off the ground. Your back leg has lengthened behind you. The top of the foot is resting on the mat back there. And then sink down into sitting kind of over and maybe even on that heel. Like my heel tends to hit right around my top of my right leg. But that's just me. Some people, they're actually going to have their foot way out here. And they're going to be able to sink down into it. But by the time I sink down, that foot always comes back for me. Think about that foot that's behind you, stretched out. Try to straighten it so it's pointing straight back and not pigeon-toed. And then when you're ready, lower into sleeping swan. fit one more posture in today. So begin to come back up. Stretch your torso in the upright. Lengthen. Inhale. As you exhale, push into the knees and begin to take that left foot out. Let's just rest in all fours. Just rest on all fours. So far, so good now with the sun. Okay. All right, after your next inhale, you're going to bring your right foot up between your hands. You could extend it out first if you want, but bring it up. And then keep inching it forward so that as you extend out that back leg, your right knee is right over your right ankle in dragon pose. So you can start with your knee in between both arms. Certainly more on the right, but just inside both arms. And feel that stretch at the groin, at the legs. Pressing your pelvis down toward the floor. And now let that right knee come outside of the right arm. So it's out. It's been freed. And now keeping that left hand on the mat, you can press that right knee out toward the right. You could also have your left forearm on the mat and still rotating your chest toward the right, pressing that right knee out even further, right. If you're on your forearm, lengthen through that left upper arm and shoulder area so you're not squishing into your shoulder joint. Breathe long and deep. And now place both arms back down inside that right leg. And begin to help yourself back, where you pull that right leg back into all fours. And now switch sides. So bring that left leg between the hands. Inch it forward, line it up with the hands. The foot. And begin to sink down your pelvis toward the mat. left leg to come to the outside of both of the left arm. And think about lowering onto your forearm, right forearm. Left hand on the left knee. Rotate your torso to the left, looking up toward the ceiling and pressing that left knee out toward the left and toward the floor. Remember to hold that upper right arm lengthened through the shoulder. With your hands, help your torso up. Begin to hinge backwards and bring that foot out. So you're back to all fours. We're going to lay down on our backs. Stretch your arms overhead on the floor. Just stretch your spine, your arms as long as you can, as lengthened as you can. Keep breathing. Now bring your arms back towards your knees. Bring your knees up toward your chest. Straighten both legs and grab the backs of your legs somewhere. And stretch your heels and your soles of your feet up so that you're flexing your feet. And really feel that stretch in the back of your legs. Bend the knees, bring the hands toward the feet, grab the feet or the ankles. Pulling the knees down toward the armpits and the floor on either side of your rib cage. And now let your legs lengthen out on the mat and widen them to the width of the mat. Your feet reach the corners, toward the corners of each side of your mat. Arms are by your side, palms facing up. Readjust your spine a little bit, lift it, wiggle it, and then lay it down from upper to lower vertebrae. Breathe and relax. If you want to keep laying there in meditation, do so. Otherwise, start to activate your body. Maybe grab your knees, bent knees, rocking side to side. And slowly work your way up to seated. And we'll come into easy pose. Hands at the heart center. Inhale through your nose. As you exhale, lower your forehead toward your fingertips. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and see you next time.